Alright everybody, how's it going? Vash here with another vlog, and today we got a lot going on. Let me start with the X1. So right now on my X1 I'm actually printing out something for my Saturn Ultra 4, my Elegoo. This is actually a mounting piece so that when you take off the build plate, and for anybody who's done resin printing, they'll know this, but for anybody who hasn't, this is just an FYI. When you get started, when you want to make sure that you conserve as much resin as possible. So it'd be really important that when you're done with the print, that you let the tray or the build plate drip back into the vat. I mean, unless you're in a rush to like get your print off and get it washed and cured, I understand that, but it's really important that you conserve that resin. So right now I'm actually printing out this piece, and basically what it is it's going to allow it to attach at an angle onto where the handle is, or where the attachment is for the print bed. Actually, I'll just show you real quick on here. And I was printing on this and then it got all messed up, and I'll tell you guys about it in a sec. So, but essentially this comes off with this latch here, and this just slides off. It's actually something I'm actually really happy about. It makes it very easy versus like the turning knob that you have to turn a whole bunch of times on many other brands of printers. I know some people don't like this, but I do. This latch is insecure. It's just very easy. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take off the print bed, and that piece is going to be attached in here. It'll basically allow us to take this off and let it sit at an angle. So all that resin will be able to, or a lot of resin will be able to drip back into the tray. So you don't have to worry about washing away a whole bunch of that excess resin. You can get a lot of it to drip off back into the tray and then be able to put it back into the bottle. So that's what I'm making for that right now. And essentially that will allow me to save a lot of resin and also give it a lot of time to get a lot of that excess off without having to, like, you know, use air to blow it off, or just wash it away and then lose that resin, because resin's not cheap, guys. Resin is not cheap. Anybody looking to get into resin printing, FYI, it isn't cheap. But I imagine like FDM, the costs of resin will start coming down a little bit. I don't know how much more, but it still isn't like a cheap thing. So FDM, not a huge barrier to get into, but resin, oh man, some of the resins you're going to be paying a premium for, even the basic ones. But that's what I'm making on here. And there's two parts to this. This is going to be done, and then I'm printing another one. But so far the reviews on this are pretty good. And I will post a link to this in the description down there. Also, actually yesterday I was printing some TPU. And let me actually grab that and I'll show you guys the pieces that I made, just so you guys see the quality of it. Hold tight one sec. Okay, so here is one of them. Here is the top. Now, when I print with TPU, and I've been doing it a lot more lately, I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go, that's a bit better. You can see that top layer. Came out really, really good. I mean, and for anybody who doesn't know, TPU is a flexible material. It just, yeah, it's great. So if you're looking to get like, need some kind of like rubberized type of print, TPU is your go-to. There are different kinds of TPU. Just know that when I'm printing TPU, I tend to continually print it while it's being dried. Now, I dried this roll for 24 hours. I've read online you can do from 8 to 12 and it's fine, but I really wanted to make sure it was good, so I dried it for 24 the day before, and then I printed it, and it came out great. But I left the roll in the filament dryer, and I kept the filament dryer going because I just wanted to make sure that there was no issues when it came to any kind of moisture in TPU. And I'm pretty happy with all the results. Here's another piece. Let's see if I can get that in. There you go. And that came out pretty good. I'm really happy with that. I am going to order some of that TPU for the AMS and try it out. I want to like test like how good it is, how rubbery it is, how flexible it is in comparison to this one here I got from Elegoo. And I like Elegoo's filaments. I buy them all the time. I use them pretty frequently. But I do want to try that AMS TPU and see how it goes. You know, depending on your need, it might be good. But so far I've been doing really well with the Elegoo's TPU on a lot of the prints I've been making. But that's these guys. Now, onto this mess. Now, I want to start this off by saying I like my K2. I've gotten some really great prints off of it. Here's one. This is an articulating dragon. I don't know if we can get this in focus. Try and get this in focus. There we go. This came out great. Outside of this like little black piece that was under there, the quality of it came out really good. So I'm really happy with that. And I've gotten some really great prints overall with this so far. But this just took the cake for me. I was just really pissed off. I don't know if we can see in here, but I don't know if you can see this right here. This jammed, and I'm printing with ASA. And this is inland ASA. This is not the, I believe Creality has a Hyper ASA. I do plan on buying that because between ABS and ASA, I prefer printing with ASA. It's just always worked better for me. Although they're basically the same. I don't know, I've always just had issues printing with ABS over the years. And I've done a lot of printing over the past decade, but I've always just had issues with it, but ASA has always been easier to deal with. So I've been just printing with ASA, but this just took the cake for me. I don't know what happened, but it basically jammed and then it forced the filament out to the side and just stuck out. The printer did recognize that and did tell me, hey, it is not extruding. You may have a problem. Stop the printer, stop the print, which did take a while for the printer to recognize that I was trying to stop it. And then it finally stopped. But I had to disassemble this guy here. Take it apart, get out the little bits of filament, and also clean off the gears. There's nothing on them now, but for anybody, and I'll probably make a video for this. I'm sure there's plenty of other people who've made tons of videos about this over the years, but I'll probably make one as well, just to throw my name into the hat. But there's definitely a bunch of tools you should have, and you should have a wire brush, so that you can scrape off and clean off the nozzle. And crap, I dropped it. Give me one sec while I pick this up. You definitely want to have a wire brush so that you can clean off these guys here. And just to make sure, because I had a bunch of ASA like bits in here because it got shredded. So, but you're going to want to be able to clean this off. So like a wire brush is a great tool to have. Like I said, I'll probably make a video of some tools I recommend, something like this. But yeah, now my plan is to reassemble that, reattach that here, and then replace the nozzle. Now, to Creality's credit, I don't think I've talked about this in the previous vlogs. They did come with what did come with this printer is this toolkit. let me just show this to you guys real fast, is this toolkit. Now this toolkit is quote unquote everything you would need to maintenance it on the most basic level. So replacing the nozzle, taking apart this extruder, taking apart the heat break and the hot end and everything, that will be in here. So I will end up using this, testing this out, seeing if it actually is all the stuff that you do need. But yeah, that is what's going on with this guy. Not too thrilled, but for anybody who's gonna be like, yeah, Creality sucks, you know, man, I've had the same problem with my X1. I've had a problem with my Elegoo. I've had my problem with my Anycubics. Hell, I had that problem with my first printer, the ANET A8, which I'll probably show you guys in a future video. But I've had this kind of issue. Not this exact one, but like a jam like this. I've had this in every printer. This is not exclusive to Creality in any way. So don't take this as like, oh, the K2 really, really sucks. I've had this in every printer. This is par for the course, regardless of what anybody wants to say about the cost of it. I had friends who had the Ultimakers, and it happened in those as well. So this is not anything that doesn't happen to any printer. It just kind of sucks that it just happened in general. It just sucks that it happens. But I've done a lot of printing on this so far. I put I want to say well over a couple hundred hours, because that Deadpool print was 100 hours in itself. But yeah, I've done a lot of printing on this so far. So for this to happen, it's not unexpected. Just sucks that it happened. So, but I do plan on working on this, and hopefully we have this up and running in the next like hour or so, because now it just comes back to reassembling the extruder and then taking out the hot end and replacing it with the spare that came with it. That's the other thing. They did provide a spare, which now I'm a little panicked because I don't know where that spare is. And I thought I left it in there, but I'm gonna have to find it, but it does come with a spare. What's wrong with me? And then now we're back to the Saturn Ultra 4. So, like I said, I was printing out a number of things. Oh, on the K2, I was printing out a drip, a resin drip, so I can basically put the resin back into the container. So basically, a lot of my prints right now that I have going are for this thing and this thing. So I could start printing on these more often now. I unfortunately had an issue with this, but it's completely my fault. I was printing an Ironman Statue, but the base just detached and fell in. But it's how I oriented it. It's just stupid of me. So I'm gonna reprint that. I actually took off the basically the failed print and tossed that. But I'm going to start reprinting that, and then hopefully I'll show that to you guys. I'll probably post it in a short, or maybe post it on my Instagram so you guys can check that out. But if you have, it's the Saturn Ultra 4, and then I think it's the Mars 5. Don't forget to put this tray on here. This is super important. And for those who are not familiar with this printer or don't know about it, one of the things about this printer, and let me remove this real quick. Let me just put that off to the side there. So outside of the bed rising at each curing level, the actual vat dips into the machine, and that helps with basically the speed of the print. And that means there's a gap here that goes all the way around this thing as it dips in. So if you're using the Saturn Ultra 4, or even the Saturn Ultra 4, the 16K that's coming out, or it might be out, I have to check, I can't remember. No, I don't think it's out yet. Or the Mars 5, because it's basically a smaller Saturn Ultra 4. Be sure that you're using that drip tray, because you do not want resin to get in here. Most other resin printers, hell, my Anycubics this way, everything's flush. Everything's flush. And I have a screen protector on here as well. But you can't get in. You won't get resin in, I mean, unless you're just a delinquent. No, I don't mean that. But essentially, you want to make sure that you don't get anything in here. So basically, use that drip tray so that nothing gets inside, because this is basically a gap into the electronics. So be sure to use that. Be sure to have that. Let me close this. And I mean, I have a few things coming for this, but just so everybody knows, I have the Elegoo air filter that I have the hose running. I have the hose running to this thing in the back. Actually, I can show it to you guys directly, or I might be able to. Let me see. Yep. As you can see, yeah, the hose back there, and that's going down to the air filter. I'm gonna be real honest, I have no clue if that air filter is doing anything, because my room still smells. And I normally do not have any issue with the smell of resin. I've done a lot of resin printing. I bought the very first Anycubic Photon, and I've been resin printing since that thing has come out. Usually the aroma does not bother me. Since having that thing, it has given me a slight headache. It's either that or this water wash resin, which I've never used before, but I bought multiple bottles because there's a really good sale on it. It's just so pungent, but we'll see. But I don't know if that thing is working. I really don't, but we'll see. I bought an air. I'm not sure what the technical term is, but something that checks for the VOCs in the air. I have that coming. I want to check and see, while that's on and while that's not on, the difference between them and if it's actually doing its job. Because otherwise, I spent, I think it was like $70 at the time, and that would be a serious waste of money for something that doesn't do its job. But I need to be sure. And just so you know, the green light, it's running, I have it on. So, but yeah, that is basically where we are at right now. And, oh, I do have something going on my K1. It's just a spiral vase. It's actually a really nice one too. I buy my significant other flowers all the time, and I want her to have a nice vase. So I'm printing that out, seeing how it looks, and then I'm actually, once that's done, once this is finished, I plan on probably printing it again, and then with this guy. Purple is my favorite color, and I really like this silk purple PLA. It is fantastic. So as long as that vase comes out looking good, which I'm pretty sure it will, I'm gonna do another one in this. If you saw my short on the Infinity Fruit Bowl, it's basically that. So, but yeah, really looking forward to that. Oh, this is done. So I'm looking forward to that. Actually came out pretty nice. And now it's re-spooling the excess. And if you're wondering, those are filament guides. And they have helped, yes. But yeah, that is what's going on. And now to get back to this. So, wish me luck. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy New Year, everybody. I will talk to you soon. Like and subscribe if you're feeling froggy. You guys have a good one. Peace.